Sundered Doctrine. It's the new dungeon in Heresy next month, and we return to Rhulks Pyramid. There are still many mysteries that remain within, and today we discuss what the Guardians might encounter on their next mission. Bungie announced the name of Heresy's new dungeon and the race that goes along with it. Guardians will head back to Rhulks Pyramid in Savathun's throne world in the Sundered Doctrine dungeon. It will launch on February 7th along with the episode, and the first team to clear it gets a new raid race trophy, which is kinda cool. As usual, contest mode will be active for the first 48 hours. Beyond that, we don't know much about the story and lore of what's going on here, but that's what we're gonna do today, discuss and speculate. Now, sometimes the story of dungeons stray away from the main narrative of what's going on with the story, the latest example being Vesper's Host. But given this takes place in Savathun's throne world, it could be tied to the Hive, Darkness, and Scorn. Plot threads we'll likely see in the Heresy campaign as well. So let's split it up a bit. The definition of sundered means to split apart. And doctrine is usually a set of beliefs or stated principle of a group. So in this case, I'm assuming this connects to the sword logic and the lies the Witness and Rhulk projected onto the Krill. The Hive species would have never existed. They never would have believed the sword logic if it wasn't for Rhulk. Rhulk met with the worms and forced them to follow this. Then the sisters ventured down deep into Fundament and would take their own worms. So maybe this dungeon involves Xivu finally seeing this like Savathun has, that this has all been a lie and there's other ways to exist.
Heresy! Heresy! Our sister denies your truth and crawls like an animal into the shadow of the sky! She bleeds and howls, allowing herself to be profaned by it. She spits on your memory. Sister, you always doubted. But now it is time to test theory in praxis. I am left to wonder, what is this feeling? The sky is mortally wounded, bleeding out. Yet a part of me longs for the comfort of the gardens, of your stories, of sisters. I long for our journeys together. But no, they have come to an end. We will be proven right. You will be proven right. Brother, if you have taught me anything, it was to never deny a truth, even when it grieves us. What is this feeling? I do not want it.
Rhulk is the most powerful disciple and one of the most powerful enemies we've ever faced. This has been confirmed in lore. After the subjugation of the Hive, the Witness stationed Rhulk in Savathun's throne world. His job? Make sure the production of worm larvae flowed freely, and keep an eye on the Witch Queen Savathun, make sure she didn't do anything too crazy. The Subjugator's pyramid was here, and inside the upended super device. If Savathun tried anything, Rhulk could destroy this entire space. Savathun turned on Rhulk and the Witness around Season of Arrivals. This is when the interference happened back on Io. And when Rhulk was about to kaboom the whole place with the upended, Savathun trapped him inside the pyramid, which then sunk into the swamps deep within the throne world. This was when the Scorn were introduced to this space, the Darkness army sent here to retaliate under the Witness, and Rhulk's worm experiments began further. More on that in a bit.
Puppets, all of them. Every last Krill, every last Hive. I know you hoped the Krill would see it too. We tried. We really did. But we had to let them struggle. All because of a belief that purpose had finally found them. given them strength to conquer an oppressive home world. How else were they to grow? Their loss, however, is for them to grieve, not us. We will continue forward. Greater purpose awaits, my witness.
So what's inside this pyramid that's of interest to us? Let's first start with the worm mother Zeta. Zeta was the mother of the worm gods and was there back on Fundament. She was taken by Rhulk when he spoke to the worms on Fundament, and later we see her here, used to create worm larvae for Savathun, and next to that, fuel the upended superweapon. She's believed to be dead, but I'm not 100% sure if we have confirmation on that, just some visual cues after the raid. New lore from the latest Grimoire anthology confirms that Xivu Arath may be trying to find a new worm, the winnower of all entities, warning Asa. Zeta is likely dead, but this is an interesting thought. Here is a part from that entry. These killers you're after, they were very much like you, Asa. They wanted to know why there had to be life, why there had to be death. But then, not liking the answer they made for themselves. Well, you'll see. Go on, Asa. Someone's coming to see you. And I'm sure she's got a real humdinger of a proposal for you to hear. Her sister, though, it'll really wind her up if you die by any other hand but hers. She means to take you for her worm. And she pretty much runs this town, truth be told. Watch yourself out there, it's a war zone. Also inside the pyramid is that upended. This is a super weapon that's destroyed numerous worlds, including Rhulk's homeworld in Lubre. It's still inside the pyramid, but without a power source, we believe it's just dormant. We see in Preservation, the mission after the raid, the effects of what happened. The device is off, and Zeta's corpse stretching out into the distance. One of the bosses we encountered in the raid was the Caretaker. Bungie told us this. The Caretaker is a being of which we know little. It resembles a scorned abomination, but has been the subject of several experiments and is believed to have been host to a worm. The Caretaker was entrusted with a collection of worm spawn, as well as other entities the Witness and Rhulk had obtained to be analyzed and stored within the pyramid. Reports from fire teams raiding the sunken pyramid mention that the Caretaker appears to have been both victim to and overseer of experiments seeking to fuse worms and scorn together. So we killed the Caretaker, but this further explains some of the twisted experiments Rhulk was conducting within. Scorn, worms, and perhaps one of the biggest hint that the Caretaker was entrusted with other objects that the Witness and Rhulk had obtained. These were stored within the pyramid. It isn't mentioned what they are, but we may find out in Sundered Doctrine. Just exploring some of the space, you can see some weird things. The bone of the Leviathan creature, species stuck in amber, and murals and prophecies all around. Another big question is, who would we fight? Scorn, Hive, or Loosen Hive? This all depends on the story, of course. If it's Xivu and sword logic related, I can definitely see the Hive, but maybe forces of darkness like the Dread too. Next to all of this, there's also the possibility that this Sundered Doctrine is not related to the sword logic at all, and instead some other lie that changes the way we think about future stories, something the Witness had hidden maybe. But my bet currently would be on that sword logic. This next part could be nothing, but lore from Pantheon hinted that the Guardians and the Vanguard are interested in what happened to Rhulk's home planet, Lubre. We know it's been destroyed, but they wanted to see if anything was left. The creation of the Hive was majorly influenced by Rhulk. The first disciple of the Witness subjugated the worm mother Zeta and forced her spawn into union with the Krill, which led to the Hive species and the Hive gods themselves. Hidden cipher sequences buried in the symbols throughout have been decrypted by a pioneering cryptarch, thanks to countless fire teams keeping the way clear. The solved sequence is believed to be astronomical coordinates to Lubre. Probe dispatched, awaiting arrival. So was this a hint that we'll someday see Lubre and what remains around it, or is it just a fun lore tidbit? Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video, discussing what Sundered Doctrine could be about and some of the secrets still within Rhulks Pyramid. I'm assuming we're going to be visiting parts we haven't seen before, so leave your own theories in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.